on, guys? I'm back. It is Friday, and check this out. I'm not in a desert. I am in San Diego, California. I decided to come out here Thursday night and drive out here. Got off of work, went straight over, and as soon as I checked in the motel, I passed out. But the purpose was so I didn't have to drive today, because I know I said I was going to go to LA to go play at the Commerce, but today I'm going to go to a casino that has a little bit of a backstory. When I first turned 18, my aunt at the time lived in Oceanside, California. And you know, one of the hobbies that me and my mom do together to spend time together is to play video poker. So we came out here to go visit my aunt, and we decided to go play video poker at Barona. She was super excited to play. She was like, let's go. So in the middle of the night, we drove like an hour from Oceanside to Barona Casino, and I played my first video poker machine there. And funny enough, or lucky enough, the very first $20 bill that I played at the video poker machine, I hit the Royal Flush Progressive for like $1,100 or something like that. That was an awesome experience. So then at the same time, I took some of the winnings at the time, and I was like, let me go try out poker. I've never played poker. I know I've always wanted to get into it. This was during the time of like, everyone was playing on Full Tilt and Poker Stars. So I was like, okay, everyone was playing on Full Tilt and Poker Stars. So I was like, oh, let's go down, let me go try out my luck. I remember it was a 1-2 game no limit, and I don't know what the buy-in was at the time, but when I'm looking at Poker Outlets, it's saying it's a $60 buy-in. So I did buy in, and I will remember this because you know, when you first start playing poker, you sort of go through the amateur, like the learning curve. You sort of pay to learn in the beginning couple of sessions, and I bought in, and I remember having a pair. I had a pair in my whole cards were a pair, pocket pair. I remember having a pocket pair as my hold cards, and someone raised pre-flop. I decided to just call, and then they bet, and then on the river I shoved all in. I had pocket twos, and the opponent had ace high with an ace on the board, or ace rag or something like that with an ace on the board, and she scooped the pot. And I didn't understand. So when the dealer pushed the pot to the other player, I'm sitting there thinking like, but I have a pocket pair in my hand. How does her pair, or her single ace, win against my pocket pair? So I learned that very, very, very early, and that was the very first experience of my poker game, or my poker career, so to say. So a little bit of a nostalgia trip. We're gonna go down there, we're gonna go play a session for the vlog, and yeah. So I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna go get some lunch actually right now. We're gonna go get some food, refuel, and be ready to go play some cards at Barona. And then afterwards, there is another hotel, or there's another casino, like Ocean's 12, 11, I don't know, I'm thinking of the movie or something. There's a poker room in North San Diego or somewhere like that I want to go to at night, and then sleep in the hotel, wake up in the morning, drive over to LA, and that will be another video. We'll go play at the Commerce and the bike during the day and night, or vice versa, whatever. So let me go get refueled. I'll see you guys at lunch. We are here. I'm gonna go inside. Before I start the session, I'm gonna check to see what promotions that I gotta get, so I can show you guys the promotions, get myself on a list, and try and shoot some video. We'll see. I will shoot video until I'm asked not to. I'll probably use my phone, actually, but we'll see.
Alright, so it looks like it is a Club Barona card. I'll list the comps and stuff on the side, and I'll see how this video looks. Yeah. I found the video poker stuff. These live stadium casino things are taking over. You can see so many people. Oh, is there an open one?
Yeah. Are you ready? All right. It's going to be table 13. So far table with Ashley. You want to put any other games?
Put number 1.
Do you have a Barona card by chance?
Just got.
Perfect. Oh, nice. Did you just get this today?
Yeah, I did my first or second time here.
It's your first time here, you said? Okay. All right. Table 13 with Ashley. I'm going to bring you some blind chips for being your first time.
Oh, great. Thanks.
Alright, what's up guys? Let's do a little mid-session update. I'm at the food court right now, but the game is a little interesting. I was waiting until I got my stack to a regular 100 big blind stack. The buy-in is actually $50 or $60 to $100, I think. So it's $100 max. That's really good rather than the $60. One of the cooler things is that if you tell them that you are the first time that you're playing at this poker room, they give you $20 in promotional chips that can be only used for the blinds. So you can post the big blind and the small blind with those chips. So it essentially gives you a couple rounds for free. You can't complete with those promotional blinds, so you actually have to pay your own dollar. But if the blinds are you, then you'll be able to pay with those promotional chips. That's pretty cool. Another thing that sucks is the rake is a little bit high here, so it's super hard to beat a 1-2 game with 100 cap. Even if the flop doesn't get dealt, they still rake in $1. So there's no chopping, and they take out a lot of money when it comes to that. Other than that, the first hour and a half of the session, it was a lot of like combo draws. I got huge combo draws. One hand I had like 5-6 suited with 3-4 king 2 diamond flop, and went heavy and I bricked out. I had to actually add on another $100, so I'm in the game for $200. And as we speak right now, my stack is $200. Let's talk about this hand real fast. So I have pocket kings. I have $85 behind. I'm on the button, and under the gun +1 limps. The cutoff limps as well, and I raised it up to $14. The 2 limpers, the blinds fold and the 2 limpers call, so the flop comes Jack 7 deuce. Checks to me and I bet $22. The under the gun +1 player calls, and the cutoff folds, so we're heads up. So the turn is the 5 of hearts. He checks it over to me and I go all in for $49, and he calls. The river is the deuce of diamonds, and I have pocket kings, and he said he just missed. So I'm not too sure what he had there, but I was able to stack up a pretty sizable pot. Right after that, I was able to win King Jack with a king on the board against that same player's King 9, and my Jack played. So the dealers are really friendly. They're really nice, making a lot of conversation. The players, it feels like I'm like in an alternate reality sort of, because the plays that I'm seeing is a little different than what I'm used to seeing in Vegas. Not a lot of grinders, and if they look like grinders, they're making some interesting play. Okay, they're making really atrocious plays, calling down or shoving all in, or overvaluing like top pair medium kicker. So I'm gonna stay at this game for a little bit before I go to Oceans 12 or 11 or whatever it's called. Poker room's tucked away in the corner right where the food court is, and it's a very relatively small room. It's 9-handed. Other than the rake situation, that's fine. They do spread a 1-3 game, and I think it recently just opened. and that one's a $300 max buy-in. That might be a more traditional way to play. So if I'm gonna come down here, I'm definitely gonna buy into the 1-3. I'm already deep into the 1-2 game, and the wait for the 1-3 is very long. So that's unfortunate that I'm not able to jump over to the other game, but that's okay. I'm starting to get used to the players that are at my table, and I want to take advantage of some situations. All right, that's a wrap. Just finished the session. So I probably played about 3.5 hours. I think it's night now. But yeah, I played close to 3.5, 4 hours. It was a really good session in the second half after I did that mid-session update. And let's talk about some of the house rules, some of the interesting house rules that I'm not used to, especially in Las Vegas. I don't think I've ever seen a poker room do this. So if a player leaves and that player is in the blind, I said it earlier in my mid-session update that they take $1 regardless if there's a flop dealt or not. So if a player leaves in the blinds, what they do is they make the dealer button post a small blind, and then the next player after the dealer button would post a big blind, and then the next player would post a big blind, and they do that for 2 rounds. If one player leaves, they do it for 2 rounds. I don't understand it quite yet, and I'm not really like thinking about or trying to comprehend it, but that's definitely super interesting. Another one is there are under the gun straddles and button straddles for $4. If a player on the dealer button straddles, so let's say I'm in middle position, the dealer button put the straddle on for 4, I raise it up to 15, it still skips the dealer button, makes the small blind and the big blind act, and then the dealer button act last. So that's crazy. Like, even if there's action that changes after the straddle, you still have last to act. I don't know how powerful that is, and I haven't comprehended that neither because I've never seen that before, but yeah, that one was interesting. So let's talk about this hand. I have about $160 behind. So this was, when I got back, I lost like 40 bucks. And then this hand happened. The button straddles with $70 behind. I'm in middle position. Under the gun raises to $7. And I have 3-4 suited of clubs. I decided to make the call, and there are 3 other callers ahead of me. And we're 5 ways to a flop. The flop comes 5-6 queen rainbow. And the under the gun initial raiser bets $15. So I call, 2 players fold, and then the button ends up shoving for $65 total. And I'm not too sure if this is a good call, but I ended up calling for $50 more. I had already put $15 in. I don't know how good of a call that is, but I ended up calling and spiking the 2 on the turn. So super happy about that. Let me see if I have any other hands on my analytics. All right, so let's talk about this hand. Right when I was about to pick up, I got dealt under the gun pocket kings. So I pulled out my phone super fast, and so the prior action that you don't see here is I raised it up to $10, and there was 2 other players that called. We are 3 ways to a flop. The flop came queen, king, 10. King, queen, 10. And flop the set. It's not the best flop, but definitely something that I'm going to continue with against these 2 particular players. So I go ahead, and there's $30 in the pot. I go ahead and I bet $20. The player to my left makes the call, and the history that we have with the player to the left is I think he's a good player. He just has unorthodox bet sizings that sort of needled me. Like, I couldn't understand why he was betting certain pots the way that he was betting. Like, he was betting super low sometimes, and it was just like, I felt like he was trying to price me in a lot, and he was really trying to go for good value. And I don't know, for some reason I think he was a good player. The other player he ends up calling, the other player ends up folding, and now we're heads up. The turn's a blank, it's like an 8 or a 7 or something like that. And so I decide to continue for $45. After some time, he's thinking about it. He took a little bit, but then he ended up calling. Now the river comes the ace. And that's the worst freaking card in the whole deck if I have a set right here. Because there's a lot of jacks that beat me. But I would hate to check and give up right here and then allow him to make a sizing if he's going to be betting 2 pair. Because obviously I'm never going to be checking a jack. I would hate to overfold a set, especially if he's going to control the sizing. So I go ahead and I continue for $50. The good news is he doesn't snap it off. So obviously he doesn't have a jack. and he took a long time. I think that was the longest tank of the session that I saw a player do. And he actually ends up making the call after, you know, some time. And I instantly asked, you have 2-pair? Because I think 2-pair can find a call there, especially with him against me and the history that we have. He says no, and I was able to scoop that pot.
Thank you.
Like that rumor?
I'm happy you didn't snap.
So that was super awesome to take that down. All in all, so I played for about 3.5 hours. I'm in for $200 and I cashed out for $475. And I'm happy with it, especially having to start with such a small chip stack, because just the way that the laws here, it's a little interesting having to play like something with a small chip stack to start, especially when everyone's so shallow. A couple other things I want to talk about. Now, I don't know if I'm living in an alternate reality or something, but there was multiple times where players, I don't know, so there's two guys at the table that were friends, and I don't know if it was like, long story short, in Vegas, if you check the nuts, that's considered collusion. You're supposed to get a warning. But I saw more than 3 players check the nuts. At one point, this sweet old lady, I don't think she really realized that she had the nuts. She rivered a straight flush, and a guy bet $5 into her, and she just called. So I'm like, what the heck? But then there's another point where obviously there's 2 people who are friends with each other, and then a guy, you know, had trips and checked behind, or a guy had a full house and checked behind, and like obviously the player has the nuts and he's just checking behind. But I think the most interesting one was a player rivered a straight, the nut straight, Broadway, and the other player had 2-pair and they just checked behind on the river. I just don't understand like why you can't get a warning if you have the absolute nuts. You know, Broadway straight flushes, ace high flush. I saw an ace high flush get checked down on the river. Like, I cannot understand that. Or maybe the, you know, the players just are a little different here, but who knows. What I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna grab a bite to eat. I'm gonna go down to Oceanside. It's about an hour away from here. I'm gonna go to Ocean's 11 to go play tonight. It's gonna be a little late, but that's okay. I'm gonna check into my room beforehand because it's on the way. Check into my room, chill out a little bit, go down to Ocean's 11, play until I can't play anymore, and then tomorrow we're gonna head down to LA. I don't know how long this video is gonna be, but we'll see. I'm up $275 for the session, and I'm blurry as hell. So I'll see you guys in a bit.
That was a nice little snipage. I mean, I'm happy with the 4 of a kind, but I feel like that bonus poker deluxe was gonna hit. They also make you wait in line. They don't have machines to cash the vouchers out. Super muggy here. So long, Barona. It was fun. Thanks for the monies. Happy Chinese New Year. I'm gonna get out of this car's way. I'm ready to drive for an hour.
Yo, so I'm at the rock climbing gym, just getting my rock climbing on. But you guys are just gonna see part 1 of the video. I'm splitting it into 2 parts, so that's not so long in the beginning. But I just wanted to say, I forgot, we reached 1,000 subs, so I wanted to say thank you to you guys for helping me reach my goal, supporting the channel and stuff like that. Pretty soon we are going to be doing a giveaway. I'll announce that in the next video, in part 2 of the California one. Other than that, stay tuned. So as always, if you guys like what you see, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs down if you didn't like it, subscribe to my channel, hit the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next video part. Peace.